Happy New Year, everyone! Welcome to 2021. Hope 2020 was a successful year for your portfolio, and hope 2021 is an even better year. In this video, I'm going to discuss my 5 favorite investments that I'm looking forward to in 2021. The first area I want to talk about today is industrial real estate. And I'm talking about warehouses in particular. Over the past decade, we've seen trends away from what was standard typical retail more to online shopping, e-commerce, and expect these trends to continue going forward. In fact, they've even been accelerated throughout the pandemic. Experts say that this trend has increased by like 5 years during the pandemic. And over 2020, we saw a 60% drop in retail spending, while we saw a 20% increase in e-commerce. We've also seen these increases in non-traditional e-commerce type shopping, like when it comes to shopping for groceries or alcohol with services like Instacart. We've even seen major retailers like Home Depot and Target shift to a large presence online to capture that e-commerce market. And as e-commerce grows, so will the need for warehouses. That's why I'm so bullish on industrial, specifically warehouses, in 2021. To me, if I was to invest in real estate and I had the money to get any investment I want, I'd look towards major population centers, somewhere right next to an airport. I feel like that's just a gold investment in 2021. These are also very attractive investments from the landlord side as well. You typically see 6 to 7% return on investments in this space. Well, that's not this big, juicy, beefy number that you could get elsewhere in investing. These are very solid investments in that they're pretty much just passive income. The tenants are hassle-free. They do a lot of their own maintenance, so you have very low expenses, and the tenants are very reliable. That's why you're just collecting a paycheck, and that's your job. These are some of the easiest investments to manage. Now, many of you, just like myself, can't just go out and buy a warehouse. So what options exist for us if we want to invest in this space? Well, there's a number of REITs that invest in industrial real estate, and primarily in warehouses too. One REIT I really like is Prologis. They're like the biggest player in the game. They have a lot of warehouses and attractive locations and have some of the top clientele like Amazon. Another one that's really good is Duke Realty Group. Now, before I get to investment number 2, please do me a favor if you're enjoying this video and give this video a like. It will really help promote this video and help me make more videos in the future. So number 2 is rental properties. Now I'm talking small multifamily and single family investment rentals. Anyone who bought real estate in 2020 or tried to buy real estate knows that this has been one of the craziest years ever in the real estate market. Across the board, we saw a 16% increase in prices, while 70% of properties on the market stayed on the market for less than 1 month. This was due to very low supply, coupled with record low interest rates that helped fuel demand, along with the pandemic. People wanted to trade in their studio apartment for a nice house with a lush green lawn in the suburbs. And hint, this is not the only green thing that I'll be talking about in this video. Now, people have been talking about the looming eviction crisis, and this could be a major concern. You still have over 8 million Americans unemployed, and over 3 million Americans in forbearance right now. And you're hearing everywhere, oh, the 2021 real estate collapse, it's coming, prepare. But that might not be coming. You look, the market's starting to recover, the unemployment is bouncing back, and the Biden administration might be putting policy in place to prevent that from happening. So while we might not see a major crash, you can expect a downturn, or at least like a slowdown in the market. And many over-leveraged landlords may be forced to sell, so there certainly can be deals to be found in 2021. For those of you who'd like to get into real estate investing but don't know too much about it, I recommend checking out the Bigger Pockets community. They have weekly podcasts, and my wife and I listen to them all the time, and we've gotten our start in real estate through listening to the Bigger Pockets. Really great content they have. Also, for those who don't want to spend the time that it takes to buy a property or manage it, or maybe just don't have the money necessary at this point to purchase a house, there's a site called Fundrise, and there's other sites like this as well, and you can start with as little as $1,000. I've never tried it personally, but yeah, I would like to in the future. Maybe we can make another video about investing in Fundrise. Now, shifting away from real estate, we'll get into the third investment I really like in 2021, and that is clean energy. Joe Biden has stated multiple times that one of his top priorities is to tackle climate change.
I'm announcing my plan for a clean energy revolution. It outlines what we have to do to meet this challenge head on and how we're going to get there. We're going to invest $1.7 trillion in securing our future so that by 2050, the United States will be 100% clean energy economy with net zero emissions. By the end of my first term, we will have an enforcement mechanism in place to make sure we stay on track to get there.
You can expect the United States to be rejoining the Paris Agreement very soon. And I expect in 4 or 8 years down the road, a lot like each president has their own legacy. Whether you agree with it or not, they have their legacy. George Bush, you think of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Barack Obama, you think of Obamacare. Donald Trump, you think about the wall. And my guess is when Joe Biden is thought of once his presidency is over, my guess is that you're going to remember his efforts to tackle climate change. This is a large part of why I see investing in clean energy now in 2021 as being a good investment. Despite a lot of these companies not being profitable right now, this is the way of the future. We've seen rapid growth in this industry since Joe Biden has gotten elected on November 3rd. Take Plug Power, for example. Since the November 3rd election, Plug Power's stock has shot up 200%. 70% alone in the first week of 2021. Now, some of these valuations might be a little overheated, but this is sustainable energy, and this is the way of the future. I know some of those oil companies like Exxon and Chevron, they might have some attractive valuations right now, but I would not own that. Maybe trade it if you know what you're doing, but don't own it. This is what you want to own. 2 areas of clean energy that really attracts me. One are hydrogen fuel cells, and the other being solar storage. I know electric vehicles are getting a lot of hype right now, but frankly, electric vehicles have been around for 20 years. A lot of companies do it, and it's not that difficult to produce an electric vehicle. Take Tesla. I think Tesla one day will be the largest company in the world, but it's not necessarily because of electric vehicles. It's because of the batteries and a large part because of the autonomous technology, which is a topic for a different video and almost made the cut for 2021 investments, autonomous technology, but maybe we'll say that for 2022. So getting back to hydrogen fuel cells, the top company in this sector is Plug Power. And for solar storage, a company I'd recommend is Next Era Energy. And I like this one because, well, they're a large company, but they're also very innovative as well and into new, green, cleaner energy. So you have the stability of someone who's already making revenue, but also the potential to move forward into the future with sustainable energy. However, I never pulled the plug on Plug Power, and I'm really regretting that now. Back several months ago, I saw it at $12 a share, and I was like, I need it to get to $10. And now looking, it's like $55. I'm like, oh, why did I do that? And now I feel like it's too expensive. I'm not sure I want to buy it in the 50s, but Yeah, looking back, some of these companies are very innovative startups, and there could be some risk in investing in some of these companies. So I would lean towards investing in a more established company where there's less risk. I mean, this industry could be great, but there are going to be a lot of failed companies as well in this industry. So my strategy when investing in clean energy, I like ETF on this. Normally I'm not big on ETFs. I like to pick the winners and losers myself. But this, I'm not an engineer and I don't know the inner workings of these companies. So I just want to bet on this industry as a whole. And the ETF I really like is the iShares Clean Energy. That's ticker symbol ICLN. And number 4, well, green energy isn't the only green thing that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris like. They also like, well, you know, cannabis is still a very young, infant industry. And we're seeing with policy changes more states to adopt more pro-cannabis friendly legislation. Now, millennial money has been piling into these companies for several years now with little avail. You've seen some of these valuations way up, then way down, and now they're starting to go back up again, somewhat of a U-shape. However, with more pro-cannabis legislation on the cards, I think 2021 is the year to start investing in this industry. We could potentially see federal legalization of recreational cannabis use. Now, this might not be the top priority on the Biden administration's to-do list, well, considering they're fighting a pandemic right now, have to get a large portion of the population vaccinated, then they have to deal with the economic fallout, and then we had the climate change. So it may be lower down the list, but this is something that they likely will get done in the next few years. Now, when picking a cannabis company to invest in, this can be a little tricky. Just like clean energy, there are a lot of small players in the market and a lot of companies that are not profitable yet and trying to make their way. And while this industry as a whole can be growing, some of these companies could go bust. Right now, we're seeing a lot of consolidation within the industry. Take, for example, the merger between Aphria and Tilray and the Canopy Growth acquisition of biotech. So you're starting to see a few major players emerge. What I would recommend in this industry, I really like Canopy Growth and also Cresco Labs. They both specialize on the production. Or if you're interested in investing in a cannabis ETF, I'd recommend an IShare Cannabis ETF, ticker symbol MSOS. Fifth, and last but not least, well, you have to see this coming, one of the major investments for 2021, and that's cryptocurrency. And what's not to love about cryptocurrency? The blockchain technology, the lack of government regulation, the speed of transaction, and the transparency. Yeah, well, I wonder what took so long for this to finally take off. Since November 2020, cryptocurrency has been on a tear. Bitcoin is up 200% in the past 2 months and 100% in the last 1 month. Personally, I've been chasing this. I've been wanting to invest more, but it's just been going up so rapidly that I've been afraid to invest more money. So the strategy I'm using now is I'm slowly going to trickle in money over time, and if there comes a big drop, then I'll get more aggressive. Part of the reason for these drastic increases recently are that financial institutions are finally getting on board with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. We've seen traditional investment firms like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs putting a portion of their investments in Bitcoin, and also cutting edge fintech firms like Square establishing large Bitcoin positions. And as this continues, investors are only going to gain more confidence in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. That's a large part of what held it back, fear about it. But now, as confidence is growing, more money, more investments going into these coins, and thus the prices are rising. And right now, institutions only own 0.5% of the total universe of Bitcoin. So there's still a lot of potential money that could go in. And that's why some experts who are bullish on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency think that Bitcoin could go to 100, 200,000. Listen to Chamath, for example.
Where is it going? It's probably going to 100, then 150, then 200,000. In what period? I don't know. 5 years, 10 years, but it's going there.
If you're interested in investing in cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, I recommend reading the Bitcoin Standard. This will give you a better framework of how cryptocurrency works and exactly what it is. If you're wondering what coins to invest in, because there can be so many coins that you can get lost and not know what's going on, I recommend, at least when you're starting, just sticking with the big coins. That's what I do. I invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Diversify it a little bit, maybe 50-60% in Bitcoin and the rest in the other two. And the platform I really like is Binance, largely because they have the lowest fees. So these are the investments I'm feeling for 2021. I can't wait to see how the year ahead plays out and see if some of this growth can continue or if we're due for some pullbacks in the near future. Anyways, I'm curious to hear your comments and what your thoughts are for 2021 and some of the investments you're bullish or bearish on. So go comment down below. I'll be excited to see those. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I look forward to making more videos in the future and diving even deeper on some of these topics. Thank you guys for watching.